This world is a strange place, full of different paths, different beliefs. Everyone thinks their way is the right way, but sometimes you need to draw a line, a clear line in the sand. Surah Al-Kafirun is that line. It's short, just 6 verses, but its message is heavy, like a stone that won't move. It tells you where you stand and where others stand. No confusion, no mixed signals. It's a declaration, plain and simple. This surah is about honesty, especially honesty with your faith. It's about saying what you mean and meaning what you say, especially when it comes to God. First, let's hear what it says. The words themselves are powerful. Here is the surah in a language many understand, Hindi. This helps to feel the directness of the message. 1. Kaho, e kafiro. Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun. Say, O disbelievers. 1. न मैं उसकी इबादत करता हूं जिसकी तुम इबादत करते हो. ला अबुदु मा तबुदून. I do not worship that which you worship. 1. और न तुम उसकी इबादत करने वाले हो जिसकी मैं इबादत करता हूं. वाला अंतुम आबिदूना मा अबुद. Nor are you worshippers of that which I worship. 1. और न मैं कभी उसकी इबादत करने वाला हूं जिसकी तुमने इबादत की. वाला अना आबिदुम मा अबाटुम. Nor will I be a worshipper of that which you have worshipped. 1. और न तुम कभी उसकी इबादत करने वाले हो जिसकी मैं इबादत करता हूं. वाला अंतुम आबिदूना मा अबुद. Nor will you be worshippers of that which I worship. 1. तुम्हारे लिए तुम्हारा दीन और मेरे लिए मेरा दीन. लाकुम दीनुकुम वलिया दीन. For you is your religion, and for me is my religion. These words are not a suggestion. They are a statement, a final word. This surah, the disbelievers, doesn't mess around. It gets straight to the point. In a world always trying to make deals, to compromise on everything, this surah says some things are not for sale. Your core belief in one God, that's not negotiable. It's like your backbone. If you bend it too much, you break. This surah teaches you to stand tall for what you believe. It's not about being rude or disrespectful. It's about being clear. It's about mutual respect based on clear boundaries. You have your way, I have mine. Simple. The importance of this clarity cannot be overstated. Think about it. When things are fuzzy, when lines are blurred, that's when trouble starts. People get confused. Faith gets diluted. Surah Al-Kafirun cuts through all that noise. It's like a sharp knife, separating truth from falsehood, belief from disbelief. It tells believers, this is your ground, hold it. And it tells others, this is their ground, respect it. This understanding is crucial. It lays the foundation for honest interaction, not a fake unity built on pretending differences don't exist. It's a tough message, but a necessary one. At the heart of Islam is a concept called Tawhid. It's a big word, but its meaning is simple. The oneness of God. Allah is one, unique, without partners. This isn't just an idea, it's the foundation of everything for a Muslim. It shapes how you see the world, how you live, how you pray. Surah Al-Kafirun is a powerful expression of this Tawhid. It shouts this central truth from the rooftops. It says there can be no mixing, no partnership when it comes to worshipping the one true God. This is the red line that cannot be crossed. The surah is a direct refusal to compromise on this core principle. Imagine someone telling you, let's mix our gods. You worship mine for a while, I'll worship yours. Sounds like a deal, right? Maybe even a peaceful solution. But Surah Al-Kafirun says no deal. My God is one. Your gods are many or different. I cannot worship what you worship, because my worship is reserved for Allah alone. This isn't about stubbornness for its own sake. It's about loyalty to the most fundamental truth of existence. La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah. This absolute dedication to the oneness of God is what sets Islam apart. It's not about accepting a little bit of this and a little bit of that when it comes to divinity. Tawhid demands exclusive devotion. Surah Al-Kafirun makes this exclusivity crystal clear. I do not worship what you worship. This isn't just about idols made of stone or wood. It's about any false deity, any worldly power, any desire that a person might elevate to the status of a god in their life. The surah cleanses the heart from any form of shirk, which is associating partners with Allah. So, when you recite Surah Al-Kafirun, you are renewing your commitment to Tawhid. You are saying, my loyalty is to the one God. My worship is for Him alone. This declaration is powerful. It frees you from the worship of created things and connects you directly to the Creator. It's a statement of spiritual independence. It's saying that my understanding of God is pure and unadulterated. There's no room for negotiation on this central pillar of faith. It's the core of your identity as a Muslim. This surah protects that core. Every story has a beginning. Surah Al-Kafirun also has a backstory. It wasn't revealed in a vacuum. It came down at a specific time for a specific reason. In Makkah, before the Hijrah, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his small group of followers faced intense pressure. The powerful Quraysh tribe, the leaders of Makkah, were worried. This new message of one God was threatening their old ways, their power, their economy built around idol worship. They tried everything to stop him: threats, bribes, persecution. When tough tactics didn't work, they tried a different approach, a compromise, a deal. Some of the Quraysh leaders came to the Prophet. They said something like, "Listen, Muhammad, let's make an agreement. You worship our gods for a year, and we will worship your God for a year. Or maybe you bow to our idols, and we will acknowledge your God." They thought this was a clever plan, a way to find some middle ground, to absorb this new movement into their existing system. They hoped to dilute his message, to make it harmless. This was a critical moment, a test. Would the Prophet bend? Would he compromise on the core of his message, the absolute oneness of God, for the sake of peace, or to ease the pressure on his followers? This is where Surah Al-Kafirun came down. It was Allah's direct answer, a clear, firm, and decisive no. It wasn't just the Prophet's personal opinion. It was divine revelation, telling him and all believers for all time that there can be no mixing of true worship with false worship. The lines must remain clear. The Quraysh thought they were being reasonable. They were offering a political solution to a spiritual matter. But faith, true faith in one God, isn't a political bargaining chip. It's the ultimate truth. Surah Al-Kafirun slammed the door shut on any such compromise. It told the Quraysh and the world that the worship of Allah alone is non-negotiable. This wasn't about rejecting people. It was about rejecting false objects of worship and false ways of worship. The surah established a clear principle. In matters of core belief, there is no middle ground with falsehood. Section 4, breaking it down. Every word counts in Kafirun. Let's look closer at the words. Each verse in Surah Al-Kafirun is packed with meaning. It's like a lawyer's argument, precise and leaving no room for doubt. Verse 1, say, "O disbelievers, Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun." This is a direct address. The command Qul, say, means this is a declaration to be made openly, not kept hidden. It identifies the audience clearly. It's not a vague statement to everyone. It's specifically to those who reject the oneness of God and persist in their disbelief after the truth is made clear. Verse 2, I do not worship that which you worship. La abudu ma tabudu. This is a statement about the present. Right now, at this moment, my worship is different from yours. I am not engaged in your practices. The word la, no, I do not, is a strong negation. It establishes a clear separation in the act of worship. It emphasizes that the believer's path of servitude is solely for Allah, distinct from any other form of worship directed elsewhere. This is the first layer of disavowal. Verse 3, nor are you worshippers of that which I worship. Wala antum abiduna ma abud. This mirrors the previous verse, but from the other side. Just as I don't worship your gods, you, in your current state of disbelief, are not worshipping the one true God that I worship. Even if they claim to worship God, their association of partners with him, shirk, nullified that claim in the eyes of pure monotheism. It highlights the mutual exclusivity of the two distinct paths of worship and belief systems. Verses 4 and 5. Nor will I be a worshipper of that which you have worshipped, nor will you be worshippers of that which I worship. Wala ana abidum ma abatum, wala antum abiduna ma abud. These verses are often seen as emphasizing the future, or a more permanent state of refusal. I will never worship what you worship, and you will never truly worship what I worship as long as you hold to your ways. It's a complete and final disassociation from their false deities and their ways of worship, past, present, and future. The repetition stresses the absolute and unchanging nature of this stance. It is a total rejection of any possibility of mixing or alternating worship. Verse 6. For you is your religion, and for me is my religion. Lakum dinukum waliya din. This is the final word, the ultimate conclusion. It's not a statement of approval of other religions in the sense of them being equally true paths to God. Rather, it's a declaration of separation and responsibility. You follow your path, and you will bear the consequences. I will follow my path, and I will bear its consequences. It acknowledges the existence of different ways, but firmly chooses one. It means we are separate in this fundamental matter. There is no compulsion in religion, but there is also no compromise on truth. Section 5. Living Kafirun. Its power then, its punch now. This surah is not just history, it's alive. Its message is as relevant today as it was in Makkah 14 centuries ago. We live in a world that loves to blur lines, a world that says everything is relative, all paths lead to the same place. Sometimes this is said with good intentions, to promote harmony. But Surah Al-Kafirun reminds us that while we must live peacefully with others, we cannot compromise on the core of our faith, Tawhid. The oneness of God is an absolute truth, not a relative one. The Hadith literature, the sayings and traditions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, highlights the virtues of Surah Al-Kafirun. The Prophet himself used to recite it frequently in his prayers, especially in the Sunnah prayers of Fajr, dawn, and Maghrib, sunset. He's reported to have said that reciting Surah Al-Kafirun is equivalent to reciting a quarter of the Quran. This shows its immense spiritual weight. It's also known as one of the Kul surahs, those that begin with say, emphasizing its importance as a declaration of faith and disavowal. It's considered a protection from shirk, associating partners with Allah. In today's society, Muslims face many pressures. Pressure to conform, to dilute their beliefs, to accept ideas that contradict the core teachings of Islam. It might not be idol worship in the old sense, but there are new idols. Materialism, ideologies that deny God, the worship of self. Surah Al-Kafirun gives us the strength to say no to these modern forms of shirk. It teaches us to be proud of our identity, to be clear about our beliefs, while still being good neighbors and citizens. It's about conviction, not confrontation for its own sake. So, how do we apply this surah in our lives? It starts with understanding Tawhid deeply. Then, it's about living with integrity, being honest about who we are and what we believe. It means not mixing our religious practices with things that compromise our faith. It means having the courage to stand for truth, even when it's unpopular. But it also means respecting others' right to their own beliefs, as the final verse, Lakum dinukum waliya din, implies a separation, not forced conversion. It's a call to be firm in faith, clear in identity, and respectful in interaction. This surah is a shield.